Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Finally Feel Free event. Today, I have a really special guest, Miki Jacobs. She is a medium, a public speaker, and author. She was brought up in a conservative Jewish household. She served in the Israeli army. However, her life took a significant turn when she relocated to the United States and launched a thriving business. With time, her fascination with spirituality deepened, diverging from her religious roots and the corporate world, ultimately leading her to close her business and embark on her spiritual path. Through her work with spirit, Miki has unveiled the notion of our spiritual team and explores this concept in her first book, Soul Secrets, a spiritual guidebook to your team, angels, spirit guides, and departed loved ones. Another significant aspect of Miki's life revolves around her profound love for animals over the past 2 decades. Miki and her husband Clayton have dedicated themselves to rescuing abused and neglected animals, providing them with a joyful and peaceful life on their ranch in Southern California. Drawing upon insights channeled from the spirit's extensive research, her wealth of experience caring for animals, and her unwavering affection for them, Miki unveils her latest book, Sacred Wild: The Spiritual World of Animals, including pets and its interconnectedness with ours. Miki, welcome.
Thank you, Ashwarya. I need a vacation after that bio.
Well,
Thank you, honey.
of course,
Wonderful being here. Thank you.
it's so good to have you. And I loved reading that bio because I feel like, one of my favorite things in this whole world is animals.
Oh,
Animals are the ones that really taught me the true meaning of family. And I
mhm.
see such an unconditional love in them and how pure they are. They only take what they need from the earth. They don't,
Yes.
so many things. So I'm so, so excited about your new book and also to
Oh,
talk, open this conversation up in just exploring the souls of animals, understanding animal incarnations, where do they go after they are on Earth, all of these things. So let's just start. And I just want to ask you, I want to know about the soul of animals. Like, why? Of course, we know animals are inherently equal to us and they deserve to be valued. But could you just talk a little bit about the soul of them?
yes, of course. So it's exactly what it is. As to the main theme of my book was why they are equal to us, why they have so much more powers than we can imagine. I mean, yes, they're nice and they're lovely, but their mission in our life, their purpose, again, they're very powerful. So yes, so that's why I started Sacred Wild with the concept of the soul within the body of animals. Of course, also a lot of people, I wouldn't say most, but would say a lot of people do not believe that animals have souls. And once you don't believe that concept, then naturally all other concepts, such as incarnation, such as their amazing power that they withdraw within them, as well as helping us, then all that go out the window. Because if you don't believe in the soul, which might provide all that within our body, then it would work. So, quick explanation about what souls are. So, soul is a fragment or part, small part of the creator energy that is within, permeate everything and everyone. So, there is a soul of us. All human beings obviously have the part of the creator within us, as well as all animals, all pet, all animals, all life form. For forms or that do not have a physical body, such as trees, of course, and nature, then the God as well also reside within, and what we refer to as a chi or consciousness. Of course, there's many words in spirituality, and I always advise people to not be focused only on the word, but rather the explanation, because a soul can be called spirit, can be called Christ within, can be called consciousness. So just kind of important to keep in mind. So animals like us, once again, have the fragment or the energy of the soul reside within us. Soul reside within form in order to express through the form its godlike essence. Because we are a part or a fragment or an extension of the creator to a smaller degree, of course, we are aim to be like him, aim to express our power to a smaller degree, obviously. And we are in planet Earth into a form, the souls, again, utilizing that form, if it's a human being, a soul of a human being, express itself through the form, a soul of an animal, obviously within the animal kingdom, there are many species, express itself through the form out into the world. So in that respect, because animals and human beings have the part of the creator within us, we are all interconnected. The only difference between animals and human beings, once again, is the soul within the body or the form express itself through different forms. But in regard to the equality, they are all the same and therefore interconnected with God or the creator, loved by God or the creator. The only difference, once again, to emphasize, is the soul of a human expressed through human form, a soul of an animal through an animal form. Now, because we are part of God within us, then we have I call it the DNA of God or characteristics of God. We are powerful as Him to a lesser degree, obviously. Or we can call it we are his children. So again, which is why absolutely no different between human and animals other than the way it's expressed itself. So once we are open authentically to that concept, and also what's important to me, Ashwarya, I believe in any spiritual teaching, is that as a spiritual teacher or providing spiritual information, my job is merely to awaken the people memory. We all have that memory. So whenever you listen to a video or an event or a book about spirituality, the information should sit with you. Even if you're not quite open for it or semi-open for it, the information should make sense to you because my job is merely to awaken the memory. So that's kind of important to understand. And of course, people that will listen to spiritual information will be somewhat open for it. So once now we are aware that there is soul within all animals, that the soul have power, the pet might look limited as to its power, but there is a soul within the body of the animal that express itself and therefore again provide animal with amazing amount of powers. People ask me what, for example. Actually, they have way more power than we do. For example, animals easily see spirit, easily sense spirit, because animals do not have an ego, which is not a word, it's an energy within the body. Human beings have an ego, meaning that we, people, humans, can use our free will to intentionally cause harm or intentionally cause negative actions. Animals don't do that. Animals do not have the energy of the ego within the body because all animals, cannot intentionally harm. That does not mean that they will harm, for example, if a dog get command to harm another human being or another animal, that does not mean that out of fear, not well, defending their offspring. Yes, animal, of course, can cause harm to another animals or human, but the intention is not there. Once the intention, it's all about the intention. So once the intention is not there for animals, animals do not have an ego that, like us human beings, interfere with our spiritual growth, interfere with us being aligned with the soul within the body, because this is a very dense negative energy. Animals that do not have ego, their soul aligned with their personality all the time. That is why they're so soothing. That is why they are always reside within the present moment. That is why their power expressed or utilized by the form. So powers that animals have more than us, for example, is yes, they are able to see spirit, they are able to sense spirit, they are able more so cats, able to actually detect negative energy around us, absorb it to their body, and kind of release it away from us. So, so to that respect, when people say humans are superior, no, not not really. So pets have a lot of different powers that are available to them through the soul, through being aligned constantly within the soul. Of course, also animals or pets can detect when we're not well. They can detect when we stress. Being a volunteer in the hospital as a chaplain, this is absolutely true that pet can detect when we are near death, and therefore they're more with us, they're more connected to us. When we feel full, pay attention when you're not well. Animals are actually bother us to get close to us to make sure they soothe our energy. So here it is just a few examples as to why we are equal for them. Certain things that we cannot do, they certainly can do. Why is there absolute? Remember again, a soul is a soul is a soul. It is a part of God. So even though people say, no, they're just pet or animals, they don't understand or cannot do anything. Sure, they can. They have that consciousness of the soul within their body. And therefore, we can also learn to communicate with animals, learn to channel animals, because again, channeling is done through souls. So in that respect, it was very important to me, Shwarya, to bring right away the concept of the souls, because once we open once again to the concepts of the souls, we will naturally be open to the concepts of reincarnation, which in a nutshell mean that human souls or animal souls will continue to utilize planet Earth dimension to experience life through a form. Again, a soul of an animal in an animal, a soul of a human being in a human being. So this is actually quite an effective dimension, planet Earth, because it is a physical dimension. It's a harsh dimension, nonetheless, certainly nowadays. It's when a soul incarnated into bodies or forms, there is the complexity of the physical body, certainly incarnating into a human body. There is an up and down of life, there's challenges. This is a material world, Maya, if you will. So souls, human soul, love to incarnate into planet Earth. Of course, I hear a lot of people tell me, no way I'm coming back here. And I say, oh yeah, yes, you are. So again, soul utilizing incarnation into planet Earth to continue to incarnate or embody different forms. Soul will embody different animals, will embody different pets. Human souls will embody different forms, incarnate into a male or a female in life circumstances, that it's easy, that it's hard. Of course, there's karma into it, so the life incarnation being utilized to balance karma. So again, because soul is a soul is a soul, souls are human, souls of animals will utilize life on planet Earth in order to once again achieve the ultimate goal of us souls is become more like God, expand ourselves, become more like him, express our beautiful essence as part of him through forms.
Wow, that's such an amazing explanation. And just to clarify, when animals do reincarnate, do they reincarnate as animals or they can be humans as well? It's like soul can choose what to reincarnate as. And also, I want to ask, do our beloved animals come back to us? Do they reincarnate back to be with us as animals again?
Thank you, Ashwarya. So to touch your first question, I know it's confusing because there's a lot of different beliefs. If indeed soul is a soul is a soul in a way to incarnate into animals and humans. From my experience through channeling, so many readings over the years, I never channel an animals that show me a life as a human being. And I have never channeled a human being that show me a life of an animals. As if we, human souls, were created as human souls to incarnate into human forms or all human forms. And once again, every incarnation, the soul would choose a different form, different life in order to challenge how it's expand itself. And animals, the different about animals as to channeling per through automatic writing from spirit is that animals are divided because human being is one species, and once again animals have many species. So there is wild animals, there is pets. Pets are animals that have a close interaction or relationship with human beings. So they grow through expressing love to human beings, to exchange of lives with human beings. So souls of animals will remain incarnating into animals, but there are different group of souls. So it's almost divided into group of souls. So animals of wild animals would incarnate on unlimited millions different species that would change every incarnation, but pets, from my understanding, is different. So no, I never, it's what to refer to as a cross incarnation, essentially. I did not, also interesting, because I was asking pet souls that come forward in reading, why wouldn't you incarnate as a human being? They said, because we accomplish unconditional love. We have no interest of going backward. So it's interesting, which is very, very true, because the whole point about animals, certainly pet, is their unconditional love. So this is a main thing for a soul to overcome, so to achieve. So no, I've never heard that. But again, there is a lot of colleague mediums that have different opinions. So that's really what I gather over the years, that they indeed not know cross incarnation. In regard to your second question, yes, we have what we refer to as a soulmate pets. Those are pets that indeed incarnate into us again, with us again and again and again, kind of like soulmates. Say what I did in Sacred Wild, I didn't just talk about animals, which why the subtitle include interconnectedness with ours. Because I thought, first of all, Ashwari, I'm thinking that's already a spiritual book, might as well provide more information for readers. So what I did, to every chapter, I explained the animal's perspective, and then I brought up humans. So in regard to soulmates, especially the phrase soulmates, that is so misunderstood on our planets, because a lot of people come to me and they say, Miki, where's my soulmate? I said, that was your ex. So soulmate simply mean is in regard to humans that we kind of grow through clusters of soul groups, and those are human souls, and soul groups, the members of the soul groups consider themselves as soulmates. Those are souls with whom we incarnate again and again and again throughout a numerous amount of lifetimes. Now, all the souls in our life are our soulmates? No, of course not. We also have, interaction on planet Earth with souls from other groups. But soulmates are very powerful in our lives. They can take a form of a partner. Not only they can take a form of a family member. They can take a form of a close friend. A lot of meaning souls that we incarnate again and again. A lot of people ask me if we can detect a soulmate, whether it is a soulmate of another human or a soulmate pet. Sometimes, Ashwarya, because sometimes, even of a family of four, and you have two kids, and there is always that special connection with one of them. The same thing's going with pets. We have 20 pets here, and two of them are just, they were almost familiar to me, especially one of our pets is a tortoise named Bronson. So we rescue him, and when I met him, it's almost I remember him, Ashwarya. And sometimes that's called residue from previous lives. I remember him. And then one of our cats, Rocco, I could just eat him alive. I mean, I love him. It's a bliss of love. Yes, I love all my animals, of course, as I do all animals, but there is a uniqueness. It doesn't mean the relationship are easy, certainly among soulmates in humans. It's mean that it's significant relationship. It's mean that the relationship with our soulmates contribute to who we are today. And sometimes conflicts push us to expand. So that's the concept essentially of soulmates. So yes, sometimes a soulmate pet will come with us again and again in lives, which why I brought up my two soulmates pet, where I remember them, where the connection is just somehow different than the others. Again, doesn't mean you love one child because you think it's a soulmate and don't love other child. Doesn't mean that. It means that there is underneath really a powerful bond. but they're very influential on us, soulmates, very influential to our growth, very influential to our mission in regard to animals. So that is really the concept of soulmates pets. Sometimes souls that even very close to us, even as a soulmate or soulmates pet, sometimes the soul will choose to incarnate into another human being because perhaps that incarnation or that path would provide more growth opportunity. Perhaps what they will learn from us is something they don't need to learn anymore. So when we create an incarnation, the blueprint, which is the detail of the incarnation or the lifetime, is very much designed for everyone growth. I always use the phrase that as souls, we kind of a little selfish in a loving way, of course, because I'll help you with that, you'll help me with that. And sometimes it doesn't suit for the soul to incarnate in the same incarnation together. But indeed, we have certain bond with certain people and certain pets that continue to incarnate with us. And we need to know who are our soulmates pet? Of course not. All the people, all the pets that in your life right now, meant to be in your life, you don't have to know who they are, but there is a way to detect them. So, but everyone is important, obviously.
Yes, I love that. I'm just thinking about my two cats, Lyra and Zeus. When I first got them as kittens, Lyra, she looked at me like with such, she just could not stop looking at me, even as a small kitten. It was like, how a kitten looks at her mother, like she recognized
Yeah.
me. And
Oh,
yeah, and then with Zeus, when he was a kitten, I sang a song to him. And he just started purring like he knew that song or he'd
oh,
heard me
yeah.
sing in another life. So I just wanted to share that because it's just the connection can just run so deep. There's like a different depth with humans. There's like a it is deep, but animals it's like very especially if they're with you all the time, it feels like they know every facet of your life, and
Right,
so it's such so
right,
precious. And I
right.
know
And
that
the
it can
deepness,
yeah.
no, just to emphasize, and the deepness, Ashwarya, the reason it's so deep with animals and with human beings, to say the truth, it's conditional sometimes. You can love the person and sometimes you're just upset. It's because their souls shine through. That's the thing about animal. They are in alignment with the soul, essentially God within the body. So it shine through. So the love soft us up. There is, and animals is conditioned. We can love our kids, our life partners. We're not talking about that. It is, however, conditional because there is the energy, the two energies reside within the body, and there is the dense energy of what we refer to sometimes as the ego. So with animals, it doesn't exist. So I just wanted to emphasize as to what you were just saying, that the bond is so strong. Yeah,
Mm. And of course, it's yeah, like it's such a strong bond. So when animals do depart, there's not that much awareness. It's like when a human departs this earth, there's so much rituals and you mourn and everyone is, are you okay, and grieving and all of that. But when you lose an animal, it's that support is not always there from the community. So I wanted to, which is one thing that people have to be aware of, because it is like losing a family member, sometimes more than losing a family member. But I want to ask you, Miki, once the animals depart, do they go to the same place as humans? And I also want to ask, how can we communicate with them? Like, do they send us signs, symbols, dreams? How can we still keep that link?
of course. So the pain is as severe for both. I believe when we lose a human being, when you lose an animal, it's devastating. Of course, experience of Clayton and I over the years had so many animals. However, that's why it's important to look at the life, certainly when tragedy is from a spiritual perspective. Because once you understand that there is no death authentically, that there is a soul, immortal soul within the body, that when the body dies, the soul exits the physical body from the crown chakra and travel back to the heavenly dimension of the spirit world, which where we come from. Once you authentically believe that, Is that mean you don't mourn or devastated by a loss of a departed loved one or pets? Of course not, because we're still human being within a human form, but it's certainly a different perspective. Of course, in my work, I see two different type of people, ones that are spiritual, believe in the continuation of the soul, and ones that is not, or frankly, one that is religion, which is very much rules. You know, he did this no good, so there is a sins and they go to hell and heaven. Of course, spirituality have great simplicity, and there's few main basic concepts, and one of them is the soul. So believing that your pet body dies, the soul exit the body, essentially they back in the spirit world. Yes, you have to allow the grief to happen. I explained that in my book. You cannot suppress grief. You cannot say, I'm spiritual, I don't want to grieve. It doesn't work like that. You have to allow the grief, which is the energy, to express out. But in the combination of, once again, authentically knowing that the soul indeed survived death and it's in the spirit world, and more so, very much with us, very much with us. Now, again, I'll go back to what I said at the beginning. Soul is a soul is a soul. So just because the soul was a pet here doesn't mean they cannot give us magic and sign. It's absolutely exactly the same as human souls. Once they are in the spirit world, first of all, when we exit the physical body, animal or human, it's very important to understand that it is a celebration for the soul. It's like us going back home. So the soul exits the dense physical body, certainly if the transition is difficult, if there's an illness or a suffering. So it is, souls actually use the phrase celebration. So with the mercy of the Creator, no one died alone. Nobody, no matter where your pet crossed over, no matter how difficult or tragic it was for your loved one to cross over, nobody died alone. To human being, there is what I refer to in my first book, Soul Secret. There's a group of spirit that are there waiting for us, welcome us, and ever so beautifully take us to the spirit world. Animal souls have the nature spirits. They have Gaia, our Mother Earth, that accompany us back to the heavenly dimension of the spirit world. So nobody died alone. Even when people say, I wasn't there and my animal died, nobody died alone. There's great mercy in regard to all the transition of the process when we leave planet Earth. So that's one thing that you can, you, the viewers, that we can take with us with the unbelievable, painful of losing a pet. Absolutely. So in regard to communicate with them, I don't have a special gift. I was 34 years old when I trained or awakened my ability to communicate with spirit. As you read my bio, I came from as far from spirituality as one can come. I was serving in the Israeli army for 5 years as a sergeant. I had an Orthodox Jewish home, nothing to do with spirituality. Then I discover it. Then I work on it. I quiet my mind. I improve my meditation. Of course, busy mind is the biggest obstacle to heal spirit. We all have a soul within the body, and we all have the ability to align ourselves with it, and therefore able to raise our frequency of vibration and to communicate with spirit. Yes, it's require work. It doesn't come natural to us. It's require consistency. It's require what I refer to spiritual lifestyle. If you have drama all day and your mind don't stop thinking and you're full of ego and negativity, you will hear zero, whether it is a soul of an animal or a human being. So it's required great amount of work, which I did, and practice make better. And then I start sensing them and hearing them and seeing them. Everyone can do that. And of course, I'm referring to communicate, whether departed loved ones, whether angel, whether spirit guide, whether departed pets. Soul is a soul is a soul. Of course, we make sure that we channel light beings. So yes, you can train yourself, you can commit to doing the work, and you can detect and you can hear and you can see your departed pets. In regard to signs, for those that are not directly communicate yet, being open to signs will allow people to see them. Once again, any spiritual concept, if you're not open to any spiritual concept, souls, incarnation, signs, you won't know what to look for. You might have 30, 50 signs a day and you don't know what to look for. Once you open to the concept of signs, meaning that through signs, spirits make their presence known to us. That's when you start seeing them everywhere. Of course, the more you see them, the more we get excited. Oh my God, I know it's my pet. I know it's my grandmother. They get excited and they provide more and more and more signs. So signs are a beautiful way to communicate with spirit. A lot of people ask me, how would I differentiate between who's given it to me? Practice make better. We have what we refer to intuition, sometimes called gut feeling. This is not a word. This is a building system within the body in which spirit communicate with us. So when you see a sign, the first thing that come in your mind, it's my pet, it's my grandmother, it's when then that's what it is. Of course, you got to work on your, don't let your mind come in. So again, everything spirituality practice make better. But pets give us beautiful signs. I mean, I cannot tell you, Ashwarya, how many, I would say daily, when we all down here and we're watching movie and all the animals with Clayton and me, and every night we hear, you know, when a cat jump from high to bottom and you can hear the thumping, it's so obvious and so clear. And I was often, we tell each other the evenings, what would the skeptics say? What do you think it is? It's so obvious that it's so noisy upstairs that there's animals running and jumping, you know. So that beautiful sign, embrace it. Of course, animals would give a lot of signs in nature. They would navigate towards us, unusual hummingbird and butterfly. Now, can angels give those signs? Sure, sign or sign. It doesn't matter. It's a form of communication, and you will know that. So, yeah, signs are important. Again, knowledge is important in spirituality because what knowledge does, whether it is videos, knowledge help you to keep in your spiritual progress because you have knowledge to rely on. So every day try to learn or study, not 10 hours, 1 hour a day, you know, because really what you do is you fill up your intellect with spiritual knowledge, and therefore it's remind you, I'm going to look at signs, I'm going to work on myself. So that's something I wanted to mention as well. But signs are beautiful, very much real. Please be open for them. Please know that your pet is there. They're not gone, they're not there. And when your time come, our time come, and we're gonna leave this planet, our pet gonna greet us back.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for this amazing information that's going to just really bring so much peace and understanding to so many of our viewers' hearts. And do you have a copy of your book that you can hold up or not with you?
Yes, yeah. Poor Clayton is so stressed, so
So people,
stressed out.
yeah, so people can buy that
I
on
know,
Amazon.
honey, I didn't. You want to grab it real quick?
So could you hold that book up for us, Miki, please? Great. And that's Sacred Wild. And that's all about the stuff that we've touched upon today and so much more that people can find on Amazon and all the bookstores online that we'll put
Yeah.
the link down below. And then your second book, Soul
Oh,
Secrets. Yeah.
so that's the first book.
Yeah. The first book, Soul Secrets, about the
The
journey.
first. So
Yeah.
that's the first book.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
Fantastic. And you also have a special free gift, which is, I think some of that Soul Secrets book as an
Right,
ebook. Yeah,
right. So yes, so that's the ebook would be ready for that. That's very helpful. Of course, different topics, but a lot of good spiritual information as well. So yeah, yeah.
amazing.
Oh,
Thank you so much, Miki, for just
my
your
pleasure.
journey with animals and your connection with animals and just how you your lifestyle with animals, because it's really brought through that information for us all. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Ashwa. Thank you. Take care.